Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last episode of the Matt and Rob Talk About podcast. Today I'm with,
Rob,
for the last time in 2020. So yeah,
for
very
the
cool.
last podcast.
Yeah, and how was your last Grand Prix weekend for you?
That was okay. That was alright. It was fine. It was like obviously Grand Prix weekend is always great, but it was kind of sad as well because it was the end of the crazy 2020 season. Kind of good because there's new things coming. Drivers changing teams and not quite. It wasn't quite the race I was hoping for or expected, but all in all, I think it was sort of a nice end to the season. How was it for you?
I don't know if it was a nice end to. I think it was like it was a race. Like it was like there was cars going around.
There was about 20 cars on the track at some point, so you can call it.
And then there was like 19. But that was pretty much. I mean, maybe in the middle of the season, like if we had finished the season last week, it would have been maybe more enjoyable somehow. But I mean, it was a race weekend. The race was definitely not, what fans want to see. But
no.
I think it was Formula. I don't know. I guess it's the. I guess that's what we're going back to next year. I guess with the more predictable tracks and I don't know. Yeah, just
the boring calendar. Yeah.
Yeah. The only part that was really making me watch it was because it was the last one. If it wasn't the last one, I would have just switched off before the. I don't know.
Before the end, just like it'll be alright. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, let's just go kind of straight into it. Start with the qualifying. Is there anything that stood out for you in terms of like qualifying Q1 and Q2, I guess?
Q1, Q2, I mean, not special, not really, to be fair.
Not
Except
really,
Russell.
no.
Russell couldn't go very far, so that was not that cool. Well, especially for him, I guess, the weekend to another must be very tough. But yeah,
exactly.
That was very cool.
Our predictions for both things had Russell in there, or at least yours had him in there. Actually, no, it's true. I didn't even have him in there. But fortunately or unfortunately for Russell, Hamilton came back after recovering from COVID. So he was back in the Williams, but he didn't know until Friday, right?
It was Thursday because I think Hamilton came back on Thursday afternoon.
Oh, Thursday afternoon. But I'm pretty sure there's a press conference on Thursday where he's still pretending.
Yeah, in the morning I think he wasn't. The early morning I don't think they knew. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and then Hamilton came back, which is obviously great for Hamilton fans. But I wanted to give Russell another shot, so it didn't happen.
I think it was really like a thing of like. He doesn't have anything to win anymore. Like he won the championship is over. Everything is over.
Yeah.
He didn't even win the race, so he didn't. You know what I mean? It was just another like random third place for him. Like he was not that enjoyable for him, I guess, because he wasn't fully recovered, so he wasn't performing as well as he wanted to. Also, so maybe if he just sit this one out and just like recover fully, and just like let the young kid. Like have another shot,
have a go. Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
or maybe do you think like he saw the Russell in the car and he was like, this guy, he doesn't even fit in the car and isn't that good. That's not good for me. I need to get the car back, whatever it costs.
Yeah, I can't have him in my car.
I can't have him doing this stuff in my car. It's gonna look bad on me.
Exactly. I think it's definitely a mixture of things. I think he just really wanted to come back. To be honest, like he just wanted to make sure he's there for the last race of the season. Yeah. Back in his car, obviously, I would have preferred Russell in the car just to make it more interesting for sure. The race definitely needed it.
I mean, just having Russell in the car would have made it a bit better. Like the same race, but Russell in the car would have been better. But
yeah, definitely, 100%. After the same thing for qualifying though, it's like Q1. I think Latifi spun before he could do his fast let up. Nothing to be, nothing too exciting. And then Vettel was out in Q2. Which wasn't really a shocker either, unfortunately.
Albon was doing good like all along, which was great to see. It was there was hope. There was big hope. I was like, oh god, did he keep everything for the last race? Like it actually like I don't want to put Max too much. So I don't want to pressure Max too much. I'm gonna keep all my potential to the last race. But
yeah, that's definitely what he was thinking. 100%.
not quite. It was better. The improvement was there, but it ended up not being as close as for Q2. So yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. And also in Q3, he at the end he only qualified fifth only.
Well, it was still
But
like
really
it
he
was a
should have been
great
fourth.
like you didn't like the spot didn't show really the job he did, because he was still like 3.5 tenths behind Verstappen, so that's not bad. And also it's 3.5 tenths behind Paul. It's not just Verstappen. So
Yeah, like he's not. That's true. You're right. On a lap that is a bit longer than last weekend's lap
quite a bit
by
yeah.
like 40 seconds, which is crazy. Yeah, like that's true. Like 3/10 is really not.
And
not
also
bad
like
at all.
Norris did a amazing job to get this lap in. So
Yeah.
that's also
Fantastic job from Norris in the McLaren, 100%. Yeah, and also
So-
Kvyat was quite good. I thought, like seventh place
Kvyat
for
did a
him.
good job. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I always
race,
enjoy Kvyat's interviews. Usually, there's nothing like that stood out this time around, but you know,
Yeah,
over this season, yeah.
The interview at the end of the race was also interesting.
Yeah. We'll get to the race in a second. Is there anything for qualifying that?
Well, except like
stood out for you?
Max was like just on it this time. Like
It's true. This time.
he had it in and he just like made it happen. So not very surprising from him. But I mean, I think Mercedes didn't have a good weekend overall. I think they were not there somehow. It was not working for them like fully.
Yeah, I wonder what it was. I wonder if it's Hamilton's like lack of, fitness and health and kind of thing that sort of saw him in third. I wonder if he could have gotten more out of the Mercedes,
But
or if the
overall,
whole
like
Mercedes sort of just.
even after,
went
I think they didn't have the pace to keep up with. Verstappen just flew off like during the race. It
Yeah.
was like so.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And Hamilton didn't look very racy either. Like in the first lap,
No.
I think there was an opportunity for
No.
him for sure to overtake, but
It wasn't
seem
that
to.
good. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So that was
Leclerc got ninth.
yeah,
in the
Leclerc,
end.
that's good. Yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah, exactly. But he surprisingly did better in Q2 than he did in Q3.
So yeah, that happened already. I think last race or something like that. Like they had like some weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually would have been seventh if you would have just redone this Q2 time. But he just couldn't. Yeah, I guess he couldn't put that time down again. Not quite the performance as last weekend.
Yeah, last
He
weekend
just-
was
He
one
just
of a
nailed
kind.
it and left it, which was great.
Yep.
That was good to see. We actually had some qualifying predictions as well. And we were both wrong. Completely wrong.
Not surprising,
Yeah.
really, but yeah.
No, not really. I was saying Hamilton first, Verstappen second, Bottas third. And you heard Russell, Verstappen, Bottas. Yeah.
Well, we tried.
Exactly. We do try.
Our track record is
try
not very
everything.
good this year, but
No, to be fair, I should have calculated the points at the end of this because this is the last one. I'll probably add it to it later and then see who got more right this year.
Probably not much. I mean, it was probably going to be like 2-1 or something.
Yeah. Out of all the predictions, maybe
out
you
of
got
like
2 right
17
and I got
races
1
and
right.
like multiple predictions. So like, out of hundreds of predictions, it's going to be like a very low score, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not gonna do like a percentage. I'm just gonna say who's had more, maybe. Yeah, cool. Do you want to go straight into the race?
I guess we can. It's going to be quite a easy one to summarize, really. But yeah.
It's not difficult this time around. It's not difficult.
I mean, except I think, the first few laps we had some Ferrari action that made it interesting. They were quite racy.
Yeah, that was cool to see. I really enjoyed that.
Defending, that was quite cool.
Yeah.
But
I actually don't know what happened to Leclerc at the beginning, because he started from 9th, right?
Yeah, he got overtaken by
Uh,
Vettel, but it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. No, wait. What? Is Leclerc? Yeah, he that's true. He did get overtaken by Vettel.
Yeah, and then
Um,
you couldn't pass him, and then he just stayed behind. So
Yeah. And he was on the medium tires and not on the hard tires like Vettel was, but he
yeah,
somehow couldn't switch them on or like I don't know, get the most out of them.
Weird, but he was still like fighting and trying his best. So I think Ferrari did they entertained us a bit. So that was cool.
Yeah, Ferrari, the typical. That was them two racing each other, which was nice. And Vettel was a bit quicker, or kept Leclerc behind, which usually isn't the case.
Yeah.
Was also a little bit of interesting strategy. Like, just to go through, I guess, the beginning. Nothing major happened at the front. Verstappen got away. Bottas second. Hamilton third. That's pretty much the way it's stayed. And then we had a couple of like overtakes to do with Ferrari and stuff, and sort of the
I think
midfield.
Albon also had a pass Norris, which was crucial for him.
Yes.
I think in the fifth lap or something like that. So yeah.
Oh, was it that early on? I actually didn't.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know when.
Yeah, he did a good job to not stay too long behind him, because when he passed him, he was already like 10 seconds behind Verstappen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. Verstappen just managed to like take off.
Yep.
And to be fair, like nothing really happened up until lap 10.
Yeah.
That's what I've written down, which was when Perez, unfortunately, winner of last race.
That's quite sad.
Just suffered like an engine failure or gearbox failure or something like that, and his car just stopped. Like, there was no drive, no nothing. And he was frustrated. You could see it in the cockpit as well. Like, he was he was not happy.
I don't know if it was, I think it was mostly for him, like, that could be my last race and I'm just not finishing it, more than like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm not making Racing Point finish third. I think, I don't know if it was that,
Oh, of course, yeah, that was the other thing. That was
the key goal. Yeah, it was like
the battle, right? Yeah, the battle between Racing Point and McLaren.
But I think like I don't know. Maybe he would have probably wanted to do a good job, and it was close. It was close. I mean, if he was in the race, he probably could have done like last week and just come back all the way.
I think so too. Yeah,
it was possible for them to keep the third place, but it was just not there.
Yeah,
so
not with
quite
the engine
sad to
failure,
see him like exiting this way.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
could have been
100%,
like a great last race, but that's how it is.
Yeah, but that's unfortunately that was kind of what gave us the only bit of excitement in the race. Was when there was at first they called a virtual safety car, and a lot of people went into the pits because it's a cheaper, a shorter. It doesn't take as much time up compared to the length of your lap when you do a pit stop. So most cars actually went in for a pit stop, except Ricciardo, Vettel, and Leclerc, at least in the top sort of.
That was a mistake from Ferrari for sure. But
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think it was a mistake from Ferrari, and if so, should they have brought in both of them or just Leclerc?
Oh yeah, they should have been both of them, because then Leclerc just dropped way back, like it was almost last, I think. So that was probably not smart, but yeah.
It was interesting for me to see how what happened in the end, because I thought, well, to be fair, because they were lacking power, they couldn't actually gain any advantage from like position or anything like that. Like they couldn't never build a gap that was big enough for them to then go in and have a pit stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Leclerc had his pit stop and he, I think, was last after he had his pit stop, because there's just nothing. The fit was quite like bunched up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was pretty much like, apart from that, then it was pretty much all over, really. It was like everyone settled in their spots. I think, because it was after that, pretty much, like when people pitted, then there was the people were back in a spot that they should have been to. And then everyone, like there was a gap that was between each car. There was quite a gap. The only racing part, like the only racing that we had was Stroll, Gasly, Vettel, Leclerc, kind of this group that was kind of going around, and Ricciardo a bit also. But then it was pretty much like it.
At the front there was definitely like the first four were just in equal distance away from each other. First five,
Gasly had a strong race too. Like he was behind Fiat, passed Fiat, and passed like Leclerc, Vettel, Stroll. So that was
really nice to see.
Strong race for him. Yeah.
And I think the only person that benefited from their sort of pit stop was Ricciardo, because he stayed out on the hard tires, and because Vettel was so slow, but nobody could overtake Vettel. There was actually like bit of a gap that was building there, and then he could go in from, I think it was on 6th and then just ended up on 7th. So really, like for him, that worked out.
Yeah, because he was fourth at some point. He was in front of Norris because Norris pitted, and then he was in front of him for like a while until he pitted.
Yeah, because he stayed out on his heart.
That was good for him, yeah. So that worked out
100%.
quite nicely. But then, yeah, apart from that, not much really. Well, and also like they had this thing of like, was it Kvyat that was unsafe release on? No, there was Stroll. Stroll had an unsafe release on Sainz, but then he saved it. Like he did a good job to save it, and then somehow it was like an investigation on Sainz. So it didn't make any sense. Like for a bit there was like, Sainz is gonna be investigated after the race for some like pit lane incident, which was not his fault. It was definitely Stroll that should be investigated. And why after the race? Because like it's super easy to check. There was nothing happened, and people were saying on Twitter, "Yeah, the stewards are gonna do it after the race because there's too much action going on, so they need to be focused on the race." But it was like it was ruining the suspense for like the third place like battle for the championship, because it was like
it definitely was, yeah.
Like we were all waiting to see like who's gonna win it, and then it was a key factor to see like where Stroll was gonna end up and where Sainz and Norris were gonna end up. So
yeah, I think Sainz would have had like a couple of second. They were saying something like a 5-second penalty or something like that, which would have still had him in front of Ricciardo. But it was basically, I think, because he was holding up, like he was driving in too slowly to the pit lane. That's what they thought.
It was weird, but I didn't get it really.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was, if that's as exciting as it gets, Formula 1 needs to like do something about their racing. Come on.
Yeah,
and yeah, like 100% agree. Yeah. Like this was like, why are they waiting so long? Like sort of the only thing is like who's going to be third in constructors. Just tell them.
And also everyone, I think it was a cool battle also, because like both teams deserved it. Kind of, both teams had a great year, and it was like
100%.
Every driver had a great year. Like Perez, Stroll, Sainz, Norris, they all had like great. I think all of them had a podium this year. So it's insane, like to think like the four of them had a podium, and some of them had multiple podiums. So that was quite cool. And then it was like, who's gonna win it? Either way, it's gonna be like a cool reward because they did a good job. So it went on for McLaren at the end, because Stroll struggled a bit at the end he couldn't overtake really. He didn't have the pace to do what he needed to do, which I think is a shame, because he could have been like the hero for Racing Point for sure. And for sure he could have been the hero first and solidify the thing of like, you made the right choice to keep me in a way, like he was the right one to keep, because like if it would have been a big deal, like a lot of money more for Racing Point, so there was like huge rewards to be third.
Yeah, I actually don't have the numbers, but like it is substantial.
Yeah, so
100%. Yeah.
At the same time, it's like so the pressure was all on him to do that, and Racing Point didn't look like they were like amazing on the track. Like Mercedes was not amazing, so it was like it was a bit of the same. It was like a lot of pressure on him to do it, and alone also because Perez had a failure, so it was like maybe also a bit.
I was really unlucky for Perez. 100%.
But and also McLaren was good all weekend, so it was like it's gonna be tough to like not allow them to get third. Sorry. So yeah. I think it was probably frustrating for Racing Point, even though like they had the win last week, and the win like a double podium last week and stuff. Probably frustrating.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Perez's sort of year, and he had 2 DNFs, one in Bahrain and one in Abu Dhabi. That's really unfortunate, and otherwise
also coronavirus,
solidly in the top 10.
He put a lot of points on, man, because he had like coronavirus and stuff. So he had he didn't finish many races, and he still managed to be like super high.
Yeah, that's true. I think they're just not in this chart that I'm looking at. But yeah, you're right. He missed 2 races, 3.
2 races, I think. Yeah,
he missed
2 races for Corona, then DNF 2. So that's like 4 races less than everyone.
But
and
everything else
he
was
to score like a lot of points.
Exactly.
I don't know. Did he finish like 4th in the championship or like 5th? I don't know. Like something high.
It actually doesn't say here. Oh wait, one second.
Because I mean, like he did a super good job, like for the.
No, I'm pretty sure he was fourth.
Yeah, I think
yes,
it was
Paris is fourth. Yes.
So there you go. Like how
great,
good
like,
of a year. Like
amazing. Yeah. But also very interesting because he didn't finish consistently fourth, right? Like he just had a solid performance throughout the year, but we had like a lot of actions in the midfield, which I thought was
yeah. I think because
really
like for consistency, I think he was more like on McLaren's side. But Racing Point had some really really strong weekends, and then some others they were like Corona or DNFs.
Yeah, exactly.
I think even Scholl had some bad luck, for like I think it was in Italy where he like had a big crash because of a puncture. Like they had a few like unlucky moments, and also like I guess both of them had coronavirus, so that doesn't help.
But what's interesting is Ricciardo is actually fifth in the Drivers' Championship with behind Paris with like 6 points, so not a whole lot either.
I mean, he had a super strong year too.
Yeah,
it's very consistent
with Renault. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really good, like consistently in the top 10. Really nice. Yeah, I mean the top. What is it? I mean, yeah, up until like 10th position is not much. There's like 26 points from 4th to 9th, which is like
it's close. It was close. Yeah, it was really close.
Yeah. Really nice to see.
Where did Albon finish?
Albon is 7th.
That's not great.
No, not great at all.
Yeah, but I think like overall, I think it was do you think like the Ricciardo move is good at the end? Like at the end of this now, like end of 2020, do you think Ricciardo did a good thing of switching from Renault to McLaren?
I think it's not as sort of like clear cut as it was at the beginning of the season, because I definitely felt like 2019 was not Renault. I feel like they were kind of nowhere. But McLaren also is very strong, and I think they're gonna have a really good season next year. They've got like new investment and that kind of stuff. They just finished, in third in the constructors. So I think he's going up, but it definitely isn't he's not jumping off a like sinking ship anymore, which it felt like previously. He's just like Renault's getting stronger, and even Ocon's performance got a lot better. So yeah, but like I think for him, I hope that they can, bring the fight to. I don't know. I don't think McLaren is going to be there with Mercedes and Red Bull next year.
The problem, really, if we're like really honest, is like what I was thinking was more like, it's like McLaren is really strong, like definitely stronger than Renault right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is like, how good can McLaren get? Because they're not not like making the engines. So the thing is like, Renault has way more room to improve because that's their engine. It's like a manufacturer's car, and I mean like, sure, Red Bull is not like, that's not their engine, but well, that's pretty much their engine now because they are like it's pretty much the only one that
they're gonna have to do something.
The engine is them. So, but we're gonna have the same problem with them in 22 when they don't have an engine anymore. So the thing is like, how good can you get if you're not doing your engines? Like there is a reason why Ferrari and Mercedes were the top ones. Sure, they had a lot of money, but also they were developing the whole car. So you're not like restricted by like someone giving you an engine. And it's like, if you get too good, then is Mercedes going to be like, oh yeah, sure, we're going to continue giving you an engine if you're almost beating us.
If you beat us, exactly, yeah.
Like I don't know. Renault was quite like even now, like I think Renault, they had like a Renault engine, right? And then they beat Renault badly. And it's like, how good does it look for Renault? Not very good.
No. No, exactly.
So that's the thing. It's like, but then like if Renault continues on this like journey to go up and up, and this year was really strong for Renault. Like they showed like some real improvement. My thing is like,
nice to see.
If like McLaren starts like stagnate at a good point, but not a great point, and like Renault overtakes them, then Ricciardo is gonna again like have did he switch to the wrong team again maybe?
Yeah.
So it's like maybe McLaren is gonna somehow start to do their engines too. Who knows? But I mean, I think it would be sad to see like next year Renault like for Ricciardo, not sad for Renault, but sad for Ricciardo if Renault starts beating him constantly. Like that would be
to see Renault ahead of
I think
with McLaren. Yeah,
he would
100%.
be like beating himself
Agree.
because he was like, he left Red Bull and left Renault.
He
and
just
the problem
doesn't.
is,
I don't know. Like, yeah.
the problem is age too. I think like maybe he's hoping for like
He's old.
a main seat, but I know he's not old. But I mean, like when you see like Haas, the choices they did, and then you see like Leclerc and Russell and all these guys, like young guys that are super good and coming up, and you're like, sure, you have a lot of experience, you're really good, but is a team going to pick you? It's like where is this? Does it have a really like a realistic opportunity to go to Mercedes or Ferrari at some point?
Yeah.
I'm not sure really. Like that's the thing.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I agree.
And that's sad because like imagine Ricardo never winning a world championship. How sad is that? Like how much of a waste of talent that is. Like
yeah, 100% agree. I think he had his best years and best performances at Red Bull.
that would be insane. Like if Ricardo leaves the
Yeah.
sports with no world championship wins, that would be insane.
Yeah,
Like
because
the guy,
he was
the
like
guy
a
is a
massive
world
talent,
champion. The guy is definitely a world champion. But
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's-
100% agree. Yeah, but I think yeah, I mean that's unfortunately the downside of having someone like Mercedes be so dominant for so long. It's like, and because they try to be as constant and as stable as in their team.
Yeah.
You know,
and
just
also
keeping
like
Bottas
it shows
and, like,
also
sticking with
that F1 is quite like a, you have to be lucky and be at the right spot at the right moment at the right place. So you picked up
Yeah.
like the right team, and it matters so much where you
100%.
start in Formula One. Like even if you get to Formula 2, I think it depends like which year you're really good at Formula 2. Like we lost a bunch of drivers, so like there was no spot for them. Like
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
Nick De Vries, Sergio the Camara, like a lot of guys just went there, had the super license, everything was ready, but there was no spot left. Because
Yeah.
the year before, like 3 or 4 of them were picked up for Formula One. And that's how that's like the momentum is like the perfect timing is like needed for Formula One. And then Ricciardo was same thing, like everything looked perfect for Ricciardo. And then Max showed up. And I don't know, maybe like
Yeah.
maybe
Damn.
like an opportunity at Ferrari or something like that would have, maybe like he should have moved before and then, like not stay at Red Bull so long.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think like it's gonna be tricky for him to. I don't know. I think 2022 is gonna be crucial,
Yeah.
because we don't know who's gonna be the best in 22.
No, exactly. Oh, I'm
Um,
looking forward to 2022 very much. Like in terms of F1, obviously, it's just going to be a huge change for everything. Teams, drivers,
Yeah.
engines, all sorts. Actually, not engines is probably the only thing that stays the same, right?
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but everything else.
Do you think it would be like good also to change tracks, like to have a little shuffle in tracks also?
Yes.
Like we're gonna
Like
change.
looking at
we're gonna change the
next
car.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at next year, and then seeing sort of what races are back on the calendar that we didn't have this year, and then seeing how exciting this year was with like absolutely crazy races. We had like Turkey, Imola, we had Germany again, and just like all that kind of stuff. I feel like they can do, I don't know, from a racing standpoint, it can be more exciting, but obviously there's so much more around the whole F1 event, weekend, right?
Yep.
Of like races at one track that it's probably hard to do at some of these other tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%.
I think if we change the car, it would make kind of sense also to just, I don't know, refresh the whole thing really.
Yeah.
Like the problem is money. Formula One is always like the tricky part is with the money part. It's like it is very much a key factor in like decisions, like where we go, like which racetracks, which countries.
Of course, yeah.
But I think like it would be like I think, and I was talking like to a family member of mine, and it was like, I didn't know he was watching F1, and he was like, "Oh, did you watch the series on Netflix?" And I was like, "I watch everything about F1, so for sure I watched it." And he was like,
Of course.
"So yeah, I watched it." And then I didn't like F1 before, but then I watched it, and it made me want to watch the actual racing. So now he's watching every race, and I was like, I told him like that's happening to a lot of people, like especially in the US and like a lot of countries that were not really like F1 people, that were like not an F1 country, like not the place where people enjoyed F1. And then like the thing is like maybe if we keep like the kind of routine and like year after year the same, are people gonna tune in as much? And then if maybe like a 2022 like reboot or like refresh of like quite a few tracks maybe would be interesting. I don't know.
100% agree. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard because I also like the the schedule we had in December, for example, where it's like almost every weekend. I don't know. There's something about that makes it more enjoyable to come back every weekend, or every other weekend is fine. But like having like intense stints like every now and then are just sort of
that's cool.
It's great because there's less time for the teams to like change things necessarily. But like
and I think we also saw like that change is pretty good. I mean the outer layout of the Bahrain Grand Prix was really good. I mean, people were like very much doubting it, and driver were like, "It's not going to be awesome. It's not going to be a good race." It was a great race. So it just goes to show, like, also like maybe sometimes change brings good. You know, what I mean, it's like it was a good race, good weekend, good entertainment. Everyone enjoyed it.
100%.
So it's like maybe like having a little change up in tracks, maybe doing something different, would actually bring some even more viewers to Formula One and even more eyes and more money at the same time. I don't know. I think it's a tricky one for Formula One to just change too much. I think they need like I don't know. It's weird. We shall see what's gonna happen. I think, but you never know what's next year. I think there is too much people complaining next year. Maybe they'll just change stuff. Yeah,
exactly. I think 2022, like you said, is a good opportunity for them to change things up a bit more drastically if they can. But I also think the slow change Liberty Media has now done sort of to the sport. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit more accessible. It's a bit more sort of out there. I don't know. I'm enjoying it more like this year. And I mean, this year was crazy, but like recently then sort of.
I think this year with the thing is like I was gonna say this year with fans at the race would have been super cool, but then it would not happen. It was not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Like you can either or, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have. Yeah. Anyway, I think like it also like next year there's a one that is to be confirmed still, a race, and apparently Portugal is kind of in the race for that.
In the race for that. Nice. I like how you said that. Yeah, that would be great. There's some tracks that I'm looking forward to again, like Monaco. Want to see Monaco again. I don't know. I just like Monaco. It's nuts, but I like it.
I think Hockenheim is I think I still miss Hockenheim, to be fair with you.
Yeah, me too.
It's a great, every time it did like a great race, and it's a cool track. I don't know.
And it's definitely unpredictable as well with the weather and stuff.
And I think it showed this year that it's better than the Nürburgring somehow, like for maybe like not the Nordschleife, but the Nürburgring like Grand Prix layout. I think Hockenheim is a bit more F1 material, at least nowadays. I don't know. I think it's a shame to lose it. I think would be sad to not see it. But hey, 100%. Like if Portugal is there, Portugal is a great track. So who knows?
Exactly. There's actually there's probably more things. One thing I just remembered of this Grand Prix from this weekend that I thought was great. I don't know if you've seen it. Vettel's radio message at the end of the race.
He was singing for a while.
It was amazing. I thought, like, obviously, I don't know why, but obviously he learned Italian a little bit.
He speaks Italian. He speaks Italian fluently, like Leclerc does.
Does he? Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if that's part of the contract. Anyway, but I didn't know he could speak it sort of that well. And then, like you said, he was singing. He was like, hang on, guys, I've prepared something. I don't know what he was doing in the car. Like, you just see him driving around.
Yeah, he had himself. He had a lyric sheet, like paper, like hidden.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
That's why he had his glove off. He had his glove off, and then I didn't see the paper. And then I saw a picture where you could see like a little piece of paper on the steering wheel. And I think that's why he hid like
makes sense.
The lyrics
Amazing.
in the car.
Yeah. He's definitely more of a talent as a driver than a singer, but it was still nice to hear and see that he's sort of after like a very difficult season or a couple of seasons actually, like that he's kind of wants to leave on a very positive note, and the team seemed to be quite like supportive, and Leclerc actually also, which was a bit weird, but like he put "Thank you, Seb" on his like helmet, I think.
I think they were like more like friends than people thought. I think he was more like a Ferrari and Seb like relationship problem that was there. And I think I don't think it was like a whole of Ferrari problem. I think it was like probably like the people at the side, like that had like the main people at Ferrari probably that had a problem with Seb, because I think he still loved the people in the garage and all these mechanics and all the crew, because he was the same for years now. So he's friends with everyone. I think the tension was probably more with like maybe like the team principal and then all the people that actually make decisions. I think that's probably where the tension was more. So I think he probably was sad to leave for sure, even though the year was tough.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's looking forward to leaving, but I think leaving like individuals and mechanics, and I think he listed like a whole bunch of people that sort of were, I don't know if they were mechanics or just part of the team that he was working with regularly, and yeah, you could really feel that he was a big part of the team, and obviously.
And also when you think about it, it's probably also like a lot of thing, like a hope that like didn't happen, like the world champion, like probably like since a kid he dreamed to be like driving for Ferrari, and then the thing was like drive for Ferrari, get a world championship, and all this stuff, and then he drove for Ferrari, but didn't like the expectation didn't come to reality.
Yeah,
like
he was pretty close, like a couple of seasons. Yeah.
But then I think that's also maybe a lot of things that a lot of pressure. That I think he had a couple of like the last 3 years are probably very tough on him. Like since the Hockenheim crash, I think that all the mistakes, the spins, the media pressure, like he's still like is Seb over, is like easy, not good anymore. I think maybe it's probably good for him to have a clean slate at Racing Point and just like start fresh.
100% agree. Also think the instability, like where Mercedes was very stable and the sort of try to make it as good as possible for the drivers, Ferrari was undergoing like huge changes. New team principal, like they sacked loads of people, and it's
this year was definitely not a great year for Ferrari. Like it was a lot of
exactly. That's kind of the outcome of like a really unstable sort of couple of years, I guess, is that then things just didn't line up for this year maybe. They seem pretty confident for next year, and Leclerc's putting in some pretty good performances with this car. Yeah. So I think they could be back up top-ish next year.
Yeah.
For sure.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Favorite race of the year for you?
Favorite race of the year for me? Oof. It's difficult. I've got the list of races in front of me. I think I'm going to say Turkey. Because Turkey was crazy.
Okay, interesting.
Because Turkey was absolutely nuts. With the, it's weird because you just look at like the calendar and who won it. It's like, Hamilton won Turkey. It's like, all right, okay, any other race. Yeah. Well, not really. And like as a performance, I'm not the biggest Hamilton fan. But as a performance for a driver to come like to do this kind of race with like, he had like intermediate tires on that were then worn down to slicks. Yeah. His inter slicks, and finished the race with, which was just absolutely crazy. And the race in the rain is always great for me. There's always entertainment there. I think that's for me. It's hard, but it's definitely one of the best, one of the most interesting ones this year. Yeah. How about you?
I'd say like I'm a French guy, so I'll say Monza, just because I think that's the one I screamed the most and I was the most like jumping around like a crazy guy.
I still have the picture in my head of you like with the colors.
Yeah, and I had paint in my face and everything. So it was a great weekend for sure. And I think like just overall like see like different people racing, and like it was super close between Sainz and Gasly, and it was just like it was good racing. Like the track delivered, and I think like. Yeah, I think just it was great to see like guys that are like really like I think like sure like Lewis always gets emotional for like he's always happy for podiums and stuff, but you see the difference with like Gasly, Perez, Ocon, all these guys like were like super like emotional about the podiums because it actually means that much. It's like when you imagine like even more for Perez. I mean, it's 190 races in F1, but it's also like maybe 20 years of racing and like like teenagehood, like sacrificed, like childhood sacrifice, like a lot of things sacrificed for this moment, and it's like took like I don't know how many years to get there. So it's like it's that's great. It was great to see, and like this season we got a lot of that. It was a very satisfying season for a lot because we got to see a lot of people being happy on the podium and like actually some diversity on the podium, and we're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. I think that was 100%. Monza was the highlight for me, for sure. If I had to watch one again, I'd probably watch Monza again.
Okay, fair enough.
And driver of the year for you?
I think I agree. Driver of the year.
That's tricky.
Driver of the year for me. Wow, you took me by surprise there. I'm not gonna lie.
We can
Do you want to go
three.
first?
If you have three, do three. I don't know. If it's
drivers of the year. I mean, it's kind of hard, like, because Hamilton isn't really the driver of the year for me because.
Let's do three. Let's do three. Like, no order.
Yeah.
Like just three best drivers.
Okay,
that's a podium, but with no one or two or three. It's just like top three.
Top three.
So it's a bit easier because there's different reasons. So it would be tricky to put one for like
Hulkenberg.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna lie. Like that was the roller coaster ride for him twice to sort of like come and like having to do a race and like being in a cafe somewhere and then being called and like, hey, can you come and do the qualifying? It's like, that kind of thing is like, I think a great performance as a driver, and like kind of would like to see more of him in F1 for sure. Yeah. Like we said earlier, there's people that sort of deserve a seat and just don't have one. And I think he's definitely one of them. It's really tough with like sort of the midfield guys like Perez, Sainz, Norris. I think Perez in the end, like he actually had like such a good year and such a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the car improved massively,
Racing
Point or the pink Mercedes, what we called it. But I think him as a driver, and I think last weekend where he came from last to first, amazing, really, really good. Yeah, I'll just go with those two.
Okay, cool.
Those two.
Speaking of the pink Mercedes, did you see, like, there was a funny tweet of like Mercedes putting a picture of the Lewis and Bottas eating donuts and like saying, the Mercedes W11 is good for retirement. And Red Bull said, hey, Racing Point, your car is ready for next year.
Yeah. Amazing. No, I didn't actually see that. I saw another picture of something where there was a Mercedes of the back of, I don't know if it was a fully Photoshop or not, but similar sort of idea. It was a Mercedes from this year on the back of like a truck. And then the truck was just painted like Racing Point colors. Like they were just picking up their car for next year and towing it away.
That's good too. But yeah, for top three, I'd say Gasly, because I think he had a great year. I think overall, like he just performed very, very well for like a team that is not supposed to be like the upper midfield. It's supposed to be like just a second team for Red Bull. So I think he did very good, and he probably deserved to stay there. I think earlier in the season, like all the way to half the season, he was probably the driver of the year. I think he's definitely in the top three. I think. Yeah, I was not going to put Perez, but I think, as you mentioned, I think Perez needs to be there just because he had a great year, and then
and he's potentially not have a seat for next year, which is crazy.
And then, I mean, let's say I'll say like I'll say his name, but then I probably won't put it. I'll say like Hamilton just because like. I mean, come on. The guy just won another championship.
Come on. Right.
It's expected, but it's still like amazing. Like when you see like our podcast thumbnails, like there's 16 of them, and it's like he's pretty much with the trophy smiling in all of them almost. So it's a bit come on, you still have to give credit to the guy. So
I guess you're right. Like that would be the top three. You must be in there because it's it is expected, but also he's done it like 7 times.
I think for like different reasons, but Hamilton, Perez, and Gasly were like the guys that did like a super good job this year. All did like also very well. I think Scholl probably deserves some credit because he had a good year. I think he definitely showed that he's not like there for no reason and because he's lucky or whatever. And Sainz also did a good year. Ricciardo had a really strong year. So I think quite a few guys had a strong year. Even Giovinazzi showed that he actually deserves to be there, and it's not like he actually performed well against Raikkonen, so that's good for him too.
Yeah, I think he
Russell
won
also, like we forgot Russell, but Russell, I mean, he had a great year too. So I think there's a lot of people that had a great year, but
I kind of want to see more people in a Mercedes next year. That would be great.
I think they should have one Mercedes as a bonus, like a third one, and then like they switch every week for like a different driver.
Oh, amazing! Again, just add it to the list of our ideas to improve Formula One. Great,
cool,
love it. Yeah, definitely agree. How are you feeling about the 2021? Just to like briefly sort of sum that up. There's loads of stuff that's going to happen with that, but are you excited for it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's exciting. Yeah, I think I don't know the races, the calendar. I don't know because it has been so great this year, like the surprise and then
Yeah.
the different tracks and stuff. So I don't know how it's gonna be to come back to the usual kind of tracks.
But same old.
But I think maybe the restriction, like like the budget caps and stuff, is gonna maybe bring something different. I'm not really sure, to be fair. But
Yeah.
I hope it's gonna be entertaining as this year. And we
Absolutely.
shall see. But yeah, what's your prediction for next year? Like, who do you think is gonna win the championship?
Ooh, that's a good one. Who's going to win the championship next year? Realistically, Hamilton.
Yeah, probably right. Like we have,
But-
yeah.
I'd like to see Verstappen win it this year, next year.
I think I'd just like to see
That'd be
Hamilton just so he has 8 and that's it. Then we can just he
And
can
then
retire.
he can finally
Then
retire.
he can retire. We can go to move to something else, and then it can be
Yeah,
the
and
the,
then
ma- the
there'd be a
Verstappen.
whole new era. Yeah, the Verstappen era. Yeah, there we go. That'd be cool. Verstappen then 2022 goes to Mercedes. They smash it with the new car.
If
he
if
wins-
Red Bull
He
cannot
wins 9 in
find-
a row.
if Red Bull can't find an engine and Max has to move, like for 2022, imagine a Verstappen Russell lineup at Mercedes.
That'd be
That'd
great.
be interesting.
With a really competitive car. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
That'd be
Yeah.
insane.
Oh, it'd be. I don't know though. Yeah, I think they probably get on enough, but I think Verstappen would be, if Russell outperforms him every now and then, Verstappen would be so pissed off.
Well, it would be tense. It would be tense for
would
sure.
It definitely would be tense. Yeah. Yeah.
But,
For you, same. Like, who do you think is going to win next year?
yeah, probably. I think Lewis also just like because if the car is good, he's gonna manage. He's gonna be also so determined to do it just because he's probably gonna have in mind that's probably my last year. Realistically, I
Yeah,
also
or
think that's his last year. So yeah.
Yeah.
I even think
Last-
it's Toto's last
stable
year. I
year.
think it's him and Toto's last year. To be fair, next year.
That'd be
Um,
interesting. That'd be quite devastating. Not devastating, but like quite a big change at
Yeah.
Mercedes. But I wonder if Toto has someone that he can like bring in, like somebody who's
Probably.
you know.
But yeah, I
Yes,
think that probably.
Padawan.
So they're probably gonna be very very focused on that. So I'd say Lewis for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, even though he doesn't have a contract yet.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm sure will be there. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man. It was great talking to you.
Great talking
for-
to you.
Every single race this year.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was a fun little project for sure. Fun to talk
Definitely
about
was,
like
yeah.
every race and like I think we when we watch races we're like we have a lot to talk about and we think about like stuff in our heads and it's good to talk about it with another F1 fan. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. 100% agree.
Yeah, and if anyone watched all our episodes, then like thank you very much. That was like
Yeah. Thank you for watching them all. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that's crazy.
17 hours at least.
at least.
At least exactly. Well,
Yeah, I
thank
think we
you
did
for watching.
2 bonus
everyone.
episodes too. So that's like I think we did 2
Oh,
bonus.
yeah.
Like early in the season we did 2. I think I would not.
Yeah. We wanted
races.
to do more stuff. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
cool,
Thanks so
man.
much for watching and listening. Thank you for being the co-host of this a crazy show all year
Yeah,
long.
this mad show.
This mad show.
Thank you for doing this podcast with me. Man.
Yeah, it was
been
crazy.
great.
It was cool. Yeah, it was good fun. And yeah, who knows what next year? I don't know, man. It's who knows.
Who knows? We might be
This
back.
year was-
We might not
yeah.
be back. We'll see. We'll see.
Who knows?
2021. Hopefully it's going to be better than this year. In terms of Corona and stuff. So
Yep,
we'll see how it
for
goes.
sure.
Exactly.
But
Right.
in the meantime, just take care. Have a good end of the year holidays and be safe, everyone.
Good holidays, everyone.
Thank you
Bye.
very much. Bye bye.